Good Saturday afternoon. I'm meteorologist Chris McGinness, keeping you updated on the devastating wildfires here across the Pacific Northwest, and of course the implications for all of us now is the incredibly bad air quality and low visibility across the region right now. We're looking live right now, the Wells Fargo sky camera behind me, and I mean and we're used to looking at this camera, so when we have a hard time figuring out exactly what vantage point we're at here, you know that it's pretty smoky. Over in the lower right-hand corner there appears to be the Coin Tower, and that's just a stone's throw away from the Wells Fargo building. So obviously really terrible air quality around the region. I've got a few sky cameras here lined up, so I thought I would just kind of take you on a little tour and show you what our Skycam network is showing you. We'll switch gears. I'll give you the Rose City sky camera here. And again, this is just east of I-5. You can see I-5 in the foreground. Usually we can see the Morrison Bridge over to the left. I can't see it. I think I see a boat out there on the Willamette, and usually we have the Portland waterfront prominent right there in the background, and obviously you can't see that, and that is less than a mile, I believe less than a mile from the vantage point of this camera. So visibility is just terrible right now, and that is all, or for the most part, is smoke. There is some fog, of course, mixed in with that, but it is generally smoky haze that is over the region. This is live now down at the Stoller Vineyard in Dayton, where it's currently 63 degrees, light winds, and of course there too a really murky backdrop with the skies. And let's switch gears real quick. I want to take you out to the East Gorge as well. This is our camera out in the Dalles on the east end of the gorge from Oregon's Veterans Home, and we're generally looking west here with this vantage point, and usually off in the distance we can see Mount Hood and the Dalles, and the river takes a nice big curve to the right, the Columbia River, and of course we can't see more than, a half a mile in front of our face here, it looks like on this camera. So the smoke is widespread. If you are watching this stream right now, pretty much anywhere in Southwest Washington, through the Gorge and in Western Oregon, we are inundated with smoke, and it doesn't stop there. The smoke is at the beach. This is a live look right now from the Astoria Column sky camera, and we're focused on the column because that's all you can see. Usually we point it the other direction, we can see the Megler Bridge, but that is not doable today. And as we check out the visible satellite imagery, we have got widespread cloud cover, not clouds, excuse me, smoke. This is our visible satellite over the last 3 hours. And what I could tell you is that if it weren't for the smoke, this would be a brilliantly, beautifully clear, sunny, bright September Saturday afternoon. Everything that you're looking at right now on this visible satellite imagery is wildfire smoke. The dense smoke extends all the way east into eastern Idaho. It's Boise getting pretty well smoked out. Pendleton is solid with a smoke cover. Spokane smoked in. Seattle smoked in all the way down to Medford. And of course, if I went out wider, you would see the contribution that the Northern California wildfires are also making to this big smoky soup that is stuck over the Pacific Northwest right now. So that is kind of our huge concern right now for anybody outside of the immediate area of the fires. And by the way, before I get too far away from that, I want to let folks know, anyone concerned, anyone living in a level 1, 2, or 3 evacuation area, I want to let you know that we are continually updating our website. As soon as we get information, it is on our website in terms of the progress that fires have made, any changes in evacuation status for the good or for the bad. All of that information is live on our website right now. It has been since day one, and we will continue to do that. Right now, we wanted to kind of focus on the broader weather picture that is impacting all of us right now. And there you go. You can see here the visibility map shows that we're down to 3/4 mile visibility right now in Portland. We've got a 1/2 mile visibility in Scappoose, Hillsborough, McMinnville, Aurora, and Salem. This would typically be what we'd see a dense fog advisory issued for something like this. We actually have a dense smoke advisory for a good chunk of Clackamas, Marion, Lynn, Lane, Benton, Polk counties, Yamhill counties, and even at the coast, the visibility not very good right now. Newport, about 2 miles, 2.5 mile visibility in Tillamook with a smoke. So that, of course, means the air quality here across the region is just terrible. I think last night and even early this morning, between Matt last night and Rod this morning, we still had a few yellow dots left across eastern Oregon. Yellow on this map, the code is up at the top of your screen. That indicates moderate air quality. I only see one now. Pretty much everybody is either in the unhealthy to very unhealthy, and in some cases hazardous air quality. This is when the particulate or the AQI gets above about 250 or 300. and in through the metro area here. Again, very unhealthy air. All of those magenta colored dots in northern Clark County through the Portland, Vancouver metro area into Washington County. Those are all very unhealthy readings showing up right now live on air quality sensors in the area. So, I did get a chance to talk to some of the public health officials yesterday, and the recommendation basically is for everybody to stay indoors, to limit your exposure to this outside air, because remember, we're breathing in smoke, but there's a lot of stuff in wildfire smoke aside from smoke that you just don't want to breathe in. So the advice from the professionals is stay inside, and if you do have to go outside, of course, wear a mask, preferably a KN95 mask that will help filter out some of that particulate matter. In any event, that's the setup right now in terms of air quality. And again, it's bad. We've got an air quality advisory. Let's go back to the graphics here. Basically all of Washington, most of Idaho, and all of Oregon is under some form of air quality advisory. In the metro area and the immediate Portland, Vancouver metro area, that air quality advisory extends until at least Monday, until at least noon on Monday. And that, of course, is due in large part, primarily, to the wildfire smoke. But in addition to that, I mentioned that we've got a dense smoke advisory for parts of the area as well. Eastern Marion County, basically 2/3 of Clackamas County, Hood River, Wasco, getting out into the Gorge, and then south to Lynn and Lane and Benton and Polk and Lincoln County. It's all under a dense smoke advisory until 8 a.m. Visibility 1 to 2 miles in dense smoke, but again, we showed you that visibility map just a minute ago, and visibility is down to a 1/4 mile in some cases, and this is mostly due to the wildfire smoke that is continuing to saturate the area. From that perspective, it would be nice to have a little wind, but of course, wind is what got us here. Wind is what drove those fires to go raging in intensity very quickly. From a fire perspective, it's good that we don't have any wind in the forecast. So I wanted to show you Futurecast real quick, and our modeling continues to be very steady on this, and the wind situation with the fire has really tapered down since Thursday, and the winds have nearly gone calm overnight last night and into early this morning. And this is through late tonight and early tomorrow morning. You can see Futurecast suggesting 2, 3, 4, 5 mile an hour winds at the most west of the Cascades, where the lion's share of these fires are burning right now. So that, purely from the perspective of the fire danger and the spread of the fires, that's great news. I want to let you know, by the way, as we stream live on all of our platforms, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, you can go ahead and start throwing some questions at us, and I will do my best to answer them. We're starting to get a couple in right now. So let me, Wendy, I'm going to go ahead and go right down the list here. Jeff Lucas chimes in. Is it getting better? It does look brighter outside today. You know, Jeff, it really depends on where you are. In some cases, yes. In a lot of cases, no. It's really just where you happen to sit underneath that big dense pocket of smoke. John Bacon chimes in. He says, it looks like we're pushing in clean air from the Pacific. Well, there are some pockets along the coast that look like the visibilities might be just a little bit better, but in general, with the wind as light as it is, the air is basically stagnant. It's not moving. There's nothing mixing up the air above us right now in the valley. And so I don't think these conditions are going to change a whole lot here over the next 36 hours. What altitude is the upper level of the smoke blanket? You know, Roger, I didn't look at our sounding just yet, our Salem sounding from this morning. Shame on me for not doing that, but I will do that before our next update. I know that Matt was mentioning last night that the top of the smoke layer was up around 12,000 feet. I can take you to our Timberline camera and show that that's pretty well smoked in. We've got two different vantage points from Timberline. Let me see if I can bring that up here as I scoot through the graphics. This is our vantage point from Timberline looking south. So normally from this camera we would be able to see, Mount Jefferson off in the distance, and clearly that's just not doable. Timberline pretty well socked in with the smoke. And let's see if we've got the different vantage point. Yeah, so this is from the lodge, and this would be pointed up the hill, up the mountain, towards the peak of summit of Mount Hood, and clearly we can't see more than a stone's throw away from Timberline Lodge right now in that wildfire smoke. So, Roger, sorry I didn't directly answer your question. I don't think the ceiling, or excuse me, the top of the smoke has changed much from about 12,000 feet from yesterday, but I will get back to you on that a little bit later with our next update. Questions coming in. Jermaine Johnson, how long do you think it will take for the air to clean up? Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and bring up our smoke model, because our smoke model on Futurecast has been doing a pretty good job of keeping tabs on the wildfire smoke over the last several weeks. Of course, we've been watching the fires in Central Oregon and in the Cascades 2 weeks ago, and then when this whole mess blew up, this became front and center for us here in the Valley. This is our smoke forecast through Sunday and into Monday, and you can see the really bright pink colors that you have on this map, that bright pink and magenta that basically covers, I don't know, a good third to 50% of Oregon. It gets shunted a little bit to the east on Monday, but mind you, we're splitting hairs here because it looks like that's almost right over Portland. It's probably going to take until Monday night or Tuesday before we see major improvements, and what's going to do that for us is a cold front's going to sweep on through and actually bring us some rain, and I can check that out in just a second. But the long answer to your question, Jermaine, is I think it's going to be a couple more days for the air to clean up, or the shorter answer, I should say. NW Mossman chiming in, wants to know, if the wind blows heavy smoke away, will it increase the fire growth? Yeah, excellent point. I mean, this is one of those times where you're too much of a good thing, right? In our case, trying to get the smoke out of here, a little wind would be good, but wind is absolutely what we don't want for the fires. We want the humidity levels to come up, as they have in the last couple of days, and we want the wind to stay low, and that keeps the fire low. That keeps the fire on the ground instead of up in the treetops where it just rages out of control. Really, the ultimate solution to this is rain, and lots of rain. And we do have at least a little bit of rain in the forecast as we get into Monday night and Tuesday, and I'll check that out in just a second. Answering, I think, Jeff Lucas, I think I'm answering your question. Just mist or rain on Monday? No, it looks like rain on both the European and the GFS model. It looks like rain, and in fact, the rainfall amounts vary from maybe 1/3 of an inch to 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch, and I can show you that too coming up in just a second. Keoka Adams, are fires coming towards northeast Portland? I mean, at this point, there are no evacuations in Multnomah County that I'm aware of, and there's no large fires burning in Multnomah County. We had a little brush fire that was actually reported earlier this afternoon on the Portland waterfront. Portland Fire Bureau, or Portland Police actually, and the Fire Bureau got in there and got that taken care of very quickly. I know anchor Brittany Falkers got some video of that actually as that was happening. Rebecca Landrum, when will it rain? We think that I'm getting that question starting to pop up just a little bit more here. So let me get to our modeling here and show you what we are anticipating in the forecast. I showed you the wind forecast, but let's get into Futurecast where it shows our next chance of rain. This is, by the way, the European model. It's one of our two go-to models in the longer range sense of getting out, 72 hours and beyond. This model actually goes out about 10 days. The GFS goes out 16 days. And in this situation here, I want to just kind of walk you through it. This is this afternoon. Usually, and again, I mentioned we've got a cloud-free sky. It's just smoke. So today would be a bright and sunny day if it weren't for the smoke. Let's track Futurecast here, and we keep the clock in the upper right-hand corner of the screen there. See where it says Saturday at 11:15 p.m.? So we're literally walking you through the model here hour by hour, and you can see a little bit of cloudiness offshore. Sunday morning we're generally clear, but by Sunday afternoon the clouds from that next front begin to roll in. That in and of itself could create a little turbulence and start to chip away at some of the smoke, but I don't think we're going to see a broad improvement in smoke until the storm system itself gets in here, and I think that happens sometime on Monday. So we'll keep rolling the clock on Futurecast. I'm kind of slowly toggling through this so that you get an idea of the time frame of when we expect to see some rain. This is Monday at lunchtime. Green on this map, of course, means rain. Yellow means potentially some heavier rain. That's offshore. And this is Monday just past lunchtime. I'll keep rolling the clock here, and it looks like that front begins to come ashore Monday afternoon. So it looks like Monday afternoon and Monday evening is our best chance to see not just mist, but legit rain. Now, how far inland does that rain make? It probably doesn't get much past the Cascades. Of course, most of the fires and most of the significant fires are burning on the west slopes of the Cascades. We typically get a little orographic lift, a little boost in rainfall in the higher terrain of the Coast Range and the Cascades. So when I show you the rainfall amounts here, know that those amounts could be a little higher over the areas that need it the most, where we're currently seeing the fires. Futurecast likes the idea of this front kind of hanging up over the Pacific Northwest, and even a little wave developing on Tuesday. If that happens, that can provide a reasonable soaking for early September and bring us much needed rainfall pretty much everywhere along and west of the Cascades. So, Chris, how much rain are we talking about? Well, let's go ahead and bring up Futurecast. And this is rainfall potential through Tuesday night. And the European model likes, better than 0.6 of an inch of rain in Portland, about 1/2 inch in Salem. The darker greens on this map, where I don't have numbers, but if you look at the legend up at the upper left-hand part of your screen, that's getting upwards of an inch. And what I don't think this model is picking up on necessarily is sometimes we get a little enhancement near the Cascades. And so that could mean, while you see only 0.05 inches in Detroit, where one of the fires is raging right now, it's possible that we see even more than that. We see significantly more than that if we get just the right dynamics, and let's just hope that this happens. Again, we've seen models shift and change on us a lot, but both the European and the GFS model have been fairly consistent with bringing a reasonable September rain event our way late in the day on Monday and then lasting into Tuesday. And then once we get through this system, it looks like we're kind of almost into a showery weather pattern thereafter, which, again, the more rain, the better, right? So that's what we're hoping for. All right, I want to go back to some more questions. Let's see. When will it rain, do I think? Oh, Rebecca also asked, when do I think the air quality will be back to normal? That's a question. I mean, how do you want me to answer that? I would say that, back to normal, it's going to take a while, especially if you live in the vicinity of one of these fires. Because remember, it's quite possible that it takes weeks and weeks of fall rain to actually extinguish these fires. They are so big, they are burning so ferociously, they're so hot that it's going to take a good while to get them out. So anybody in the immediate vicinity of the fire, even when and if fire crews are able to get them contained, they're still going to be belching out smoke. And that smoke, we may have days of really good air quality here in Portland, like next week, and then all of a sudden we get a big wind shift and we get a little warm weather pattern mid-September, late September, and it starts to blow the wildfire smoke at us. So the short answer is we could see some significant improvement pretty quickly once we get this little bit of rain in here. We think that happens Monday night and Tuesday, but long term, it's going to take probably weeks of on and off rain to get these fires squashed down enough to eliminate smoke in the air and the skies over Portland, Salem, Vancouver, etc. And then in the places that are right up on the fire line, again, it's going to take probably even longer than that to see the smoke completely dissipate. All right, let's see. We've got some more questions coming in. What happens when rain falls on the ashes in the air? Well, Susan, the initial rain will probably produce a big mess on your car, but very shortly after, it's going to rain the ash and the muck out and hopefully clear the air out. At least that's the theory. Of course, we're also adding a lot of particulate into the air, so it's going to be a real dirty rain, I think, for at least the first little bit as that comes in. Donna says, if it rains, won't that be bad because it contains CO2 levels hurting her? Well, look, I mean, dumping... okay, so I'm able to read. I have the benefit of reading this question, and the folks I realize at home on other streams may not. So let me read the full question. If it rains, won't the rain be bad for the environment because it contains CO2 levels hurting our streams and rivers? You're dragging down particulate and you're dumping it into the rivers. That's not a good idea. Yes, it could eventually have some impact. I don't know that Portland itself will see enough quote unquote ashfall into the Willamette River to create a major problem for the river, but in smaller streams and tributaries that are right up against these fires, with not only the ashfall but also the debris that's just falling in there, that could be a different story in some of the smaller tributaries. Are we going to get any lightning this week? Diana asks. What I did see in the models a couple of days ago, looking forward to Wednesday and Thursday of this coming week, was that there was a storm system offshore. The flow pattern sets up such that when we get a southwest flow, that would be a scenario where we could see some thunderstorms. Right now we don't have those modeled. I don't see them, but it's not to say for sure that we're not going to have lightning. And of course, lightning does create a lot of fires. So that's one of our big fire start concerns. We hope that we just get rain and not lightning. Okay, let me scroll back here. I haven't, guys, I apologize. I know we're live on Facebook and I haven't had a chance to kind of chime back in and check our Facebook feed here. So let's see the questions that are popping up here. Julie saying, let's see. Julie chiming in and saying, at what point are, oh, no, we'll skip that. Keep the question. Lots of comments coming through. I'm trying my best to kind of stay on top of these. as best I can. Let's see. Let me go ahead and try a slightly different tool here that might give me a better angle. Carrie Phillips asking Kelly Phillips, excuse me, what visibility is needed for fire support from helicopters? Good question, and I don't know I don't know the specific answer to that. Presumably, they need. I don't know. I'm not gonna overstep my bounds here on that question. I don't know what the precise answer is that, and I think I saw a number floating around out there from someone else in terms of visibility required for the air support to come in and douse these fires. But we do know that earlier this morning, at least this morning, there was no air support for one of the local fires because it was just too smoky. Oh, got it. Okay, thanks. All right, let's see. What else do we have up here? Julie Crossman. Julie, KN95 mask will protect your lungs. They protect us from the particulate matter that's in the air right now. So, I think we're looking at 5 microns, I think is the size that we're looking at. The particles in the air, they're big enough, they can be filtered out by those KN95 masks. In fact, I just did a story yesterday with the Blanchet House about how they had gotten a shipment of KN95 masks, and they were giving them out packets of 5, 6 KN95 masks to the people that were coming there and taking advantage of the Blanchet House's services. So yeah, if you can get your hands on one of those, wear it. But I think the bigger point here that I heard from health officials yesterday was just don't spend any time outside. I mean, the air is just that bad. You don't want to be breathing this stuff in. And unless your mask is, hermetically sealed around your face, you're still going to get some seepage coming in from the sides, right? You're breathing in, and if you wear those masks that fit really, really tight, you can see as you're breathing that the mask puffs out and then it gets sucked in. Well, you're going to suck some of that past where your mask rests on your face because it's not sealed. So the best advice, again, that I heard from doctors is just avoid going outside, which also brings up another point. How are folks keeping the air inside their house clean? Keep your doors and windows shut, and turn on your HVAC system, by the way. You can turn, there's a fan, you don't need to run the air conditioning, you just run the fan only setting, and that will run air continuously through your HVAC system and through the filter that you have in place. And hopefully you've got, a fairly high filter. If you have something that's MERV 13 or higher, a lot of modern systems can withstand or can hold a MERV 13 filter. If you've got one of those in there, you're doing a really good job of filtering out particulate, but really any filtering at all is better than nothing. If you don't have that constant on fan cycle option with your HVAC system, or if you just don't have heat, obviously you don't want to be turning your heat on right now, or you don't need it, but pull the filter out. You can put it on the back of a box fan, tape it to the back of a box fan if you've got smoky air in your home, and that in and of itself could help to filter some of the air in your house. It's not perfect, it's not ideal, it's not the best, but it's better than nothing. Let's see if we have maybe pull in another more questions. No, it looks like we are okay. So we are wrapping up right now, but we will be back in a couple of hours. We'll take some more of your questions, and I know I got a couple questions that I wasn't able to answer, but I will circle back on those, and I will hope to bring you those answers coming up in our next Facebook Live coming up in a couple of hours. Thanks for watching, and again, remember, anybody that's trying to find out information, really important information in terms